sisters, the brothers.
We want to first of all look at the perspective of what we currently have in the mosques. You know, what's the setup and dynamics of the mosques today? You know, what are the not issues more than anything. What are the structures and the setups that we have in our madrasas, in our mosques today? How can we enhance and improve on those things? You know, what are some of the things that we are maybe not so happy about, that we would like to see change? You know, what are the common problems that we recognize as Muslims accessing our mosques? I think, you know, as rightly says by Brother Tariq, that the mosques are a reflection of us, and they are the center of our kind of, like, you know, there should be a central hub there that is like the beacon of kind of our communities. So we can go there for learning, development, you know, spiritual kind of seeking sort of like, you know, the deen. You know, all these elements, they need to be harnessed in that place. They shouldn't be just purely there for just worship, but they should address many issues that we have in the mosques. And one of the things that me and Brother Tariq were talking about whilst we were sat supping on our cup of teas were, unfortunately, we have a lot of times we have certain groups of people that take control of the mosques, and you know, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, you know, we're not here to criticize or anything like that, but rather to address the obvious. That look, there are certain groups of people that will take charge of the mosques, and based upon a certain system that they have, they will be very selective about what they adopt, what they put in that mosque, who goes in there, who speaks on behalf of this, and who has clout and who doesn't have clout. And unfortunately, it's not a very fair and equal kind of like setup that we have. You know, there's certain people that are the movers and shakers, that have the influence and stakeholders of that mosque, and others, they're more like a silent majority. They don't have any sort of say or any clout in that. And I think sometimes, you know, just because you've got a heavy investment in that mosque, yeah, rightly so, you might think that you've got more stake in it than somebody else. But no, I think what it's all about is the mosques having the correct provisions for our community as a whole, and not just serving the needs of the few or the influential.
Absolutely, yeah. What do you find these two?
Oh, very rightly so. And I think the key thing is that, following on from what Brother Tariq is saying, is that alhamdulillah, you know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed certain people with certain resources and certain faculties and certain qualities. Some people have, you know, financial wealth. Some people have great organizational skills. Some brothers have, you know, alhamdulillah, very kind of good minds that can think in a particular way to address certain things. So, you know, if I'm a wealthy businessman, I've got a lot of money, I would like to inject so much cash into that masjid, but my commitment to that mosque is a financial commitment. I don't want to sort of like now start to step on anyone's toes and start to address how things should be done and how things should function. I think ultimately, you know, if there's a management committee set up, it should be reflective of that community in that area, with a view that there has to be diversity in that. So it's not just purely representing, you know, the Pakistani community, and let's ignore the fact there's a Bangladeshi community there, a Gujarati community there, you know, whatever it is in that blend that you have, maybe some Arab brothers, etc., etc. There needs to be a reflection of that. So I think, you know, if you really sincerely want to set up a mosque and a committee, then it's important that we have those members of the community that form part of that committee, and they're able to sort of like then address the needs of the community because they understand it. But if you have a group, and a particular group that is representative of, you know, I don't know, a certain Bladri system or what have you, then it's an unfair setting, and really you're not interested in the kind of community, rather you're interested in the groups of people that you've set together, and those people that have a bit of clout and influence, you're more concerned about appeasing them than appeasing the needs of society and community. And that's something that we need to really move away from. And one of the key things that I want to highlight here is that, look, you know, when we build a mosque, we should remind ourselves that what Rasulullah, you know, what his legacy was all about, what he left, why he set up the mosque, and what the purpose and function of the mosque was. We will go into detail, you know, further into the discussion of the show, but this is the precedence that's been set for us. And when we have the mosques of today, we should bear that in mind. And, you know, having said that, you know, I'm sure, alhamdulillah, there are many case studies of many mosques up and down the country that, you know, reflect this and have a reflection of that. But we are addressing the issue here in Bradford and saying that as Bradford, as a community member of Bradford, a Muslim community, what is it that we want to see within our masjids? You know, what changes do we want to see? So if the imams listening out there, if there's committee members listening out there, you know, this is not a dig at you. This is not here, and it's not an opportunity for us to have a bash at the committee members. And I think, alhamdulillah, those people that are in that responsible position, you know, they have a grave responsibility. And the thing is, the question really we need to ask ourselves is, are we fulfilling it to the best of our abilities? Are we doing a service to our community members? Are they really content and happy with, with the service that we're providing them? That's the key issue that we need to have in our conscience. And if we're walking away and saying that, alhamdulillah, today we had an issue here, issue there, and we addressed it in the appropriate manner. And that's what it's all about. It's being able to respond and react to the needs of our community. That's what it means to me in a nutshell. But obviously we'll have a bit more of a discussion around this and pick up on a few of the points and notes that we may have. Brother Tariq, is there anything that you want to add or anything additional that you want to say?
No, I think...
I mean, going on from what Brother Tariq said, I think, we were having this discussion over our cup of tea and, I know the first and second generation of Muslims in Bradford, they've come and made their footprint here, and, the aim really going forward is that the communities or the generation that come afterwards, they're here to enhance on what our previous generations have already established. And, we should look at them as, forward, opportunistic kind of like, movements that are taking the community forward, rather than trying to hold on to this kind of very tribalistic mentality that, we came here and we worked hard and we established this and you guys need to continue what we're doing. No, we need to evolve as a community. We need to develop our sort of like services and provisions. We need to look at the issues that we are facing as a community today. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, Muslims living in Bradford, they had very different issues to what we have today. And, what provisions were provided in that mosque were very, very simple and very basic. Excuse me, Tariq, I mean, this Lucozade kind of give me burps.
I thought it was the two cakes that you had, that are
no, I think it's this excess gas that this Lucozade's got, that you've kindly enough bought for me, by the way, Tariq.
The reason why I bought you the big bottle of Lucozade is to stop you nicking my Diet Coke.
What happened to sharing is caring, Tariq?
That's why I bought two bottles, but just in case, I bought you a Lucozade, I know that, it's these next 2 hours.
My veins are bulging out, Tariq.
I know, I'm quite scared of seeing snakes in your arms, mate. You know what I'm saying? I think you need to put a picture of you, just in case.
No, I think that might not be a good idea, Tariq. We don't want to give the wrong impression here. But anyway, continuing from what I was saying, I think the very fundamental point of what I was trying to make was that, look, I think, as the evolution of our society and communities continues, alhamdulillah, I see a lot of talent in our youth today, in our generation, Tariq, by the way, also. Yes, I think, if we have a changing faces of the mosque and structure, I think we can turn these institutions of learning into more dynamic, more progressive and embracing kind of centres where, we can really integrate many different provisions into the mosque and really expand and grow. If you look at business, if we look at a business model, Tariq, if you go into business, you want to develop your business over the years. So you might have a 5-year, 10-year kind of like program of development. And I think the same thing we need to have with the mosques, that we need to have a long-term strategy. If we're going to be Muslims living in Britain and Bradford for the years to come, then we need to have a long-term strategy for us to really make an impression and impact in Bradford. So to me, 5, 10 years down the line, we're going to have a whole new breed of Muslims in this community, a very diverse mix. Alhamdulillah, absolutely. We're having brothers and sisters coming from many, many different countries throughout the Muslim world who are coming in and settling into Bradford. How are we going to integrate these Muslims, and are we going to integrate these Muslims? Are we going to be the case that, we're the dominant kind of like community here, so we need to keep a stronghold of this mosque? No, it shouldn't be the case. Rather, we should be here to serve the needs of our community, and our mosques should be a reflection of our community. So we should have, Arab brothers, we should have brothers from Africa, we should have brothers from Europe. They should represent our committees. Absolutely. That's what they should be like.
Well, this is it. I say absolutely.
Talking point of the whole project, and people are interested in it, but they're interested in what they can get out of it. And it's like the case of, well, what can you offer us and how much can you offer us? And, we want this much and, we want that to sort of like set it up. And it was a bit disheartening. Yeah. We managed to get it off the ground, alhamdulillah. There were brothers who were very forthcoming and forward thinking, which was very refreshing to see. That I went to one particular mosque in Birmingham, And the brother there was a young chap, probably a few years younger than me. And, you know, alhamdulillah, he was a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, Asif, this is a great project. You know, I think it's very important that the youth of today, they are engaged with the use of such recreational activities like this. Because a lot of times, Tariq, I don't know about yourself, but me, growing up in Bradford, you know, you associate certain things with a mosque. You know, mainly it was your elder gen. Sorry, Tariq, for cutting you off there, but it was mainly the elder generation that were going in the mosques, and you know, it was like, you know, when I get older, Tariq, I'll be going to the mosque as well. You know, it's that kind of picture that's projected. But we need to really rebrand the whole version of the vision of the mosque, and setting up little initiatives like this. They're a beginning. They're beginning to slowly change the stereotype of the mosque.
Absolutely, yeah. You hit the nail on the head there, Asif. What it is.